Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of MIA. I am your host. I'm Nicky says you only live once. And today we'll be talking about a groundbreaking theatrical production that highlights the journey of the Surinamese Maroons towards self liberation. Let's welcome our guest today, Sefanja Richard Galon. Welcome to MIA. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Good evening. It's great to be here. I'm really excited to be on the show.
Yes, thank you so much. Let's get right into it. So you were born in Miami but raised in Suriname. So tell us about that journey.
Oh, well, I was born here in Miami, Florida at Jackson Memorial Hospital in the third month, 3 years before the new millennium. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay, get it down to the T. That's awesome. So how has so I did some research and how is the Netherlands tied into Suriname?
Okay, so Suriname used to be a Dutch colony. It's one of like the five Guyanas, because on the top part of the South America, there's the Guyana Shield. You have we used to have Spanish Guyana, British Guyana, Dutch Guyana, French Guyana. Right next to it is Portuguese Guyana, and over time, Spanish Guyana got absorbed into Venezuela, and Portuguese Guyana became part of Brazil. And Dutch Guyana, when it got liberated from the Dutch, eventually became Suriname. It was originally started, I believe, as a wing of the Dutch East India Company, as they were bringing people over to those plantations for sugar and tobacco and sugar, tobacco, and cotton. So it was a really big plantation because the lands along the river basin yield dark dirt and then breeds a lot of crops.
That is so fascinating. How has this shaped your personal background and become like an artistic voice in storytelling?
Well, I write for a variety of reasons. I like to slow it down to like three. That's to like my artistic purpose. I write for comedy. I write to reflect the world around me, and I also write to preserve my cultural heritage. The Maroon people, like many African people, are oral oral culture. So we pass on information from father to son, mother to daughter, and so on and so forth. And I'm realizing that regardless of middle passage, with the passing of like my grandparents, my great grandparents, my great aunts, all this information about where we come from, our history, our cultural practices, we're losing it as we assimilate into the cities, into becoming more and more westernized. And if we don't take the time to write down our stories, our myths, our legends, then we might forget our own history and where we come from and the legacy that we have inherited. Just the same way, like we wouldn't know any of the Shakespeare plays, or Shakespeare never wrote any of them down. So how are we to remember any of our culture and our practices if we write none of them down?
That is so true. And family tree, we can definitely start at that family tree and have that tree just passed down and live with the next generation. But that is absolutely true. So tell us more about the Surinamese people and how has their story influenced your place. So it's called Oskuneru. I know I said it right.
Yeah.
Oskuneru. Yes. So what does that name mean?
Well, this name, like the story, it came to me in dreams. During the summer of 2020, I was really online, pandemic summer. You have to stay inside, stay away from people, very terrifying. And then I got to see all these videos of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, all these stories talking about how people are being brutalized now, the history of brutalization here in the United States, and how it seemed like the legacy was always to be a victim of the circumstance. So knowing myself, knowing how hard it was to be a first generation immigrant, to move here, to have moved to Suriname because I was born here, yes. Spent the first 8 years of my life here, had a culture shock when I had to go back when I was 8 years old, spent another 10 years growing up down there, coming back here to come to college. I had another culture shock coming back to a place in a different time, a different space, a different headspace, and a different culture here in Miami. And all these things just seemed like obstacles. All my obstacles felt against what I knew about my own ancestors, the Maroons, to be true. So my obstacles were more mental. They're more trying to integrate with society while they were literally fighting against slavery. So when it came to writing Oskuneru, these dreams, inspired by one of the trips that my father had taken me when I was a young boy into the interior, up the rivers, where the Maroon people fled from the colonial masters, past the rapids, and the village that are riverside. I had a dream that I was running to one of those villages and I'd fallen into a deep hole. And the word Oskuneru came to mind, and I screamed it out, and I was able to get out of that hole. When I woke up, I wrote it down in my notes app, and all the places I keep my ideas, my little dream journal. I'm like, this has to be symbolic of this resilience, this self-reliance, this thing I see in Western media a lot, the story about individualism and resilience in the face of obstacles without the need of somebody else intervening and giving you the Deus Machina, your solution of your salvation of your need. You know?
I hope did you copyright? Because you coined the term Oskuneru, so I hope you copyright that.
The whole script is copywritten. Yeah, it has original music, original words, original places. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, so you said that your background is the Maroon people. What part of Africa are the Maroon people from?
So that's where it gets a little bit dicey. So the story goes, if you speak to the elders who ran away and the stories that their ancestors told them, the Maroon people all come from the western side of Africa, where the majority of slaves were brought over through Middle Passage. Now, when they are brought to the plantations in South America, what they did was decide that the cruelty of slavery was too much for them to bear, so groups of them ran away together. And these different groups may have been from different tribes, maybe from different coastal villages, from Nigeria all the way down to, I think, Algeria. No, Angola, all the way down the western coast. All these different groups of people kind of banded together, formed new tribes, fought the war, and then escaped together. And then they became new families.
Okay.
So there's no specific tribe that the Maroon people hail from. They're just a collection of people who decided that once they were brought into slavery, that they will not endure and they will fight back and resist.
Yeah, we got to make sure that we preserve that history so that way the next generation knows about
However,
people. I've heard of the name Suriname. I've seen it on the map, but I don't know much about it. Like, why do you think the Surinamese people are relatively unknown as far as their history and who the people are? Like, because of you tonight, I'm learning more about it. But why do you think they're so relatively unknown?
there's not a lot of us. There's only like 400,000 people who live in Suriname. Half of them are Afro-Surinamese, and even half of them, and half of those, actually, the majority of those, like 150 to like 100, 120 to 150,000 of those people are Maroon people. So we are the ethnic majority of people in Suriname. But our country itself isn't that large. It doesn't have that many people. So to promote it, like against the likes of Brazil, which has millions of people, Suriname is kind of like just like a tiny island of its culture in the vast sea of all the South Americans. You have the loud, rambunctious Colombians, you have the Peruvians, you have the Argentinians, you have the Brazilians, you have the Chileans, Ecuadorians. Like everybody has their flag, their moniker, what their country is known for. And I feel like being known for the Maroon people would be very, very apt of Suriname. It is a minority. It's a minority of people who actually cemented treaties to free themselves, a minority of people who actually were successful in the rebellions. But I feel like an ongoing punishment for that rebellion is to be unknown, to then have secluded themselves in the jungle for such a long time that only now they're being reintroduced into like Western society. And I believe if the Maroon people continue to like have investments, keep going to school, and integrating with society, we're going to be much more well known in the next 50 to 100 years than we are right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, more to come. We are going to a commercial break, but once we get back, we're going to talk more about the production. So hang tight. We'll be right back.
I grew up down here in South Florida, so for me, it's a little bit more personal.
For the Mesman and Dover Law Firm, it's about community.
For us, South Florida's our home. You all are our people.
Our family. Our future.
The difference we'll make for you, your loved ones, your kids, matters. Because to us, it's personal.
If you need us, call us 24/7 at 866-954-MORE.
That's 866-954-6673. Demesman and Dover Law Firm, youraccidentattorneys.com.
February 20th to the 23rd, join us at the Food Network South Beach Wine and Food Festival.
This is a world-class food and wine festival. I don't think there's anything like this.
Proceeds benefit FIU.
Eat, drink, and educate.
Get your tickets now at SoBWFF.org.
And welcome back. So, how do you see Oskuneru contributing to broader discussions on Caribbean identity, resistance, and cultural preservation?
Oh, great. That's a great question. Thank you for that. Right now, what's really hot in the Caribbean Latino community is the Bad Bunny's new album. I don't
Oh,
know. Yes? Okay. I have not heard enough from my Puerto Rican, Cuban, Colombian friends about how this music videos, this music that is pulling from traditional Puerto Rican roots, which is also really African in roots, it was very also Latino in roots, also reflecting back on where he comes from and how his culture is disappearing right in front of his eyes. That is, to me, is emblematic of what I want my work to continue to do. To be in the same, I want to be in the same in step of what Bad Bunny is doing with his art form, which is getting people to have an honest conversation about their roots and their heritage and what it means to them today. Sure, slavery is hundreds of years away, but the effects of what slavery did to our people in the West is still pretty evident. And unless we can sit there, come to terms about how we have changed from being just African peoples to now being African Jamaican or African Surinamese or Afro American or Afro Honduran, and coming to understand the root of that and to see where we are today, then we can better link and understand our identity.
and Suriname again. I'm not really sure about the country. I don't know the history of it. And again, you are sharing that story with myself and our audience, and I'm intrigued. And after we're done with this, I'm gonna go. I'll do some research. I'm gonna go on Chat GPT. I'm gonna be like, you know what? I need to figure out. I need to learn more about this country. Um, so, how did you approach blending traditional African and Afro Caribbean music, set design, and storytelling to bring the Maroons' journey to life in your production?
Um, okay, so that's another great question. We are incorporating so many different elements. There are Sudanese traditional songs that we threw in here. There is set design inspired by Africa. There are Orishas from Yoruba religion. There are Nancy from Akan, Ashanti religions.
Huh?
There is Capoeira from Brazil, which is also Angolian. There's everything that I felt were the fruit of the Afro Caribbean diaspora that I kind of sprinkled in an attempt to kind of link as to how where it may have come from to where it is now. I also have a beautiful production team. The composer, Miguel Mendoza, is of Cuban, Jamaican, and Haitian descent. He has ancestors from all three different walks of life. He could claim to be Afro Caribbean. He is also part white. He is also part Taino. He's like literally what the Caribbean has become, a melting pot of all these different cultures and these people have deposited. And he's also a musician, hailing from the island of I believe Angola. No, not Angola. I could be wrong. Let me double check that. He get mad at me if I tell him this. I'm on the wrong island. He's really picky about that. But um, and then their set designer, Joel Castillo, he's of Cuban heritage. He has long worked with culture and cultural plays. He is a graduate from UM. He did a lot of research to this project. And we have our costume designer, Victoria Mejia. She's also from, she's Honduran. Yeah, Honduran Nicaraguan. And she is working on the costumes. And she did tons of research into Africa and West African clothing. And it was just, it started with the script, as everything does, and everybody took inspirations. We have a capoeira captain, Jasmine Harrell, and our choreographer, Ray Akira, who is also Jamaican of Jamaican island descent. So it's the team. The team makes the project, and it makes the project work. Everybody did their due diligence. They did their research. They also brought ideas and inspirations from every avenue they can find to infuse and enhance this project. Because at the end of the day, it may have started with me, but I do not want this project to end with me.
Oh my gosh! For some reason, I can like visualize the production in my head right now with the music, and it's vibrant, it's colorful. I just gotta pull up to see for myself. So, in what ways do you hope this production resonates with Black audiences across the diaspora, especially during Black History Month?
Well, especially during Black History Month, man. I feel like during Black History Month, we take a lot of time to remember the civil rights era, which is very important in Black history. I'm not going to take away from that. But Black history doesn't start in slavery, it doesn't start in colonialism, it starts past that. So I really want to start this trend during Black History Month that we start looking past slavery, we start looking past the civil rights era, we start looking into what our lives may have been in Africa, what those kingdoms of Ghana and the kingdoms of Kush and ancient kingdoms of Kemet may have been like. So that as we talk about Black History Month, once the movie ends, that the month ends, we can start thinking about our future.
So when is the play? Where can we get tickets? The day, the time? Tell us all about that part.
Okay, so we're here at Wilson Campus, Miami-Dade County, Wilson Campus, 300 Northeast 2nd Avenue, building number 1. Our premiere is next week, Friday at 7:30. We have an opening reception at 6:30. We run for 2 weekends. The first weekend is 6, 7, 8 at 7:30 p.m. And the next weekend is 13, 14, 15, 7:30 p.m. You can get tickets on our website, maroonowlproductions.com, or you can look us up on Instagram, Maroon Productions. Maroon Owl Productions on Instagram.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Sefanja. Very enlightened. I'm intrigued. And so wait, one more question. The language is Portuguese in Suriname, or what's the main native language?
Well, we have lots of languages. The main language right now is Dutch, because we're a Dutch colony. We also have all the different ethnic groups that move there for, like, we have the Africans who are there as slaves. Then you have the indentured servitude, which were the Indians from India. Then we have another wave of peoples, which are the Javanese from Indonesia. We also have the Chinese who are currently immigrating there. We have the Amerindians who have always been there. Mm-hmm. And everybody was mixed in between.
Oh my God, it's a blend. All right. Well, thanks again so much. I'm gonna definitely check it out. I love this part of our history, and it's just nothing wrong with wanting to learn more. So thanks for bringing this production down here within South Florida and for educating us. So thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you for having me.
And y'all, so we are going to another commercial break, but coming up next are my 2 co-hosts, Dr. Delvina, our board-certified psychiatrist, and also Imani Latifa. She's our arts and culture connoisseur. We'll be right back.
I grew up down here in South Florida, so for me, it's a little bit more personal.
For the Mesman & Dover Law Firm, it's about community.
For us, South Florida's our home. You all are our people.
Our family. Our future.
The difference we'll make for you, your loved ones, your kids, matters, because to us, it's personal.
If you need us, call us 24/7 at 866-954-MORE.
That's 866-954-6673. Demesman & Dover Law Firm, youraccidentattorneys.com.
February 20th to the 23rd, join us at the Food Network South Beach Wine and Food Festival.
This is a world-class food and wine festival. I don't think there's anything like this.
Proceeds benefit FIU.
Eat, drink, and educate.
Get your tickets now at SoBWFF.org.
Hey, Nicky, are you ready to take the couch? This episode, I am talking aromatherapy. I took a visit to Tijan in Miami and met with some ladies and also did a little hands-on stuff. Take a look at the lab. You'll see more of this. Check out Anna.
Hey, Nicky, it's Dr. Delvina, and I'm here in Tijan of Miami. You may have heard of this name before. It's located in St. Martin. Also, it started out in St. Martin. I'm here with Anna, and she is our perfume connoisseur.
The perfumer, yes. Thank you.
What are we doing here?
Today we're going to have a great experience to create your own fragrance at Tijan, Miami. And it will pick your oil from over 300 oil that we have here in the store. And you will be able to mix it with the alcohol, with everything that we have. In addition to that, you will be able to do the scent test. So you can see which one is the one that you like the best and bottle that and take it with you.
Here is the lab again. It's very well thought out. And you guys know I'm all about that brain love. New research has revealed that the sense of smell is even more intricate than previously thought, and that the process of smelling is one of the best exercises for the human brain. People who smell good are perceived as more attractive. Did you know that, Nicky? Tijan has over 300 fragrances to choose from to create your perfect fragrance or perfume. Here's another known fact. At 12 weeks, the sense of smell of a fetus is fully developed. They can smell what mom is eating, which begins the preference for taste. My mom was a foodie. Maybe that's why I'm such a foodie. But listen, you'll get specific instructions on how to mix everything, how many drops. You get to select your fragrances. Some of us are drawn to certain odors over others, such as lemon or lavender or blueberry or mango and raspberry and patchouli. There's just so many options in Tijan. And here's a little known fact. 90% of taste is actually smell. If you hold your nose while you eat a piece of rich dark chocolate, it has no taste. Aromatherapy is a holistic healing treatment. Inhaled aroma of essential oils can trigger physiological and psychological responses that can improve mood, cognitive function, and physical health. The most common use of aromatherapy is as an aid for relaxation and stress relief. As aromatherapy has become more well known, it has evolved into a frequently used approach among holistic medicine practitioners. You see us developing our recipes for our perfumes. We created everything. You saw us mix it up. We made a list of all the ingredients, and now we're pouring the product into a bottle that will then place a cap and be able to save for later and spray and use as perfume. And the best part of all of this, Nicky, is that you can go online and register with Tijan, and you will be able to use this recipe to make creams and other things. So you get your own little bag to put your perfume in after you finish. Very cute. In the end, you'll get a nice little bag with a gift certificate, and you'll get your recipe so that you can order future products online of the same product. One of the perfume specialists. Oh, so guys, come on down to 1600 Ponce de Leon Boulevard in Coral Gables and have your own perfume experience. Invent your own scent. That's all I have for now, Nicky. Say brain love.
Peace and beautiful blessings, my MIA fam, and welcome to another Arts and Culture Report by Imani Latifa. All right, let's get into this video right here. So guys, one of my dear friends, Mr. Edwin Shepard, shout out to him and his program called BICEPS, Blindfolded International Student Culture Exchange Program. I had the opportunity to hang out with them, and we welcome students coming all the way from Zimbabwe to Miami, Florida to hang out, attend school at Miami Central, and this is how they were greeted at the airport. They were absolutely adorable and exhausted. And so this is all everybody greeting. And also we had three other, two former students and one faculty one faculty liaison from Botswana. So this was the welcoming ceremony that we had, and everybody was so excited. They were so tired. And so just kind of just being welcomed by everyone. And that's the principal of Miami Central, Brother Sands, and some of the students coming out to hug everyone. I mean, they were absolutely adorable. Currently, they are still in Miami, and they will be heading back to Zimbabwe Friday, and they will definitely be missed. So this is everybody giving them hugs and greeting them, and just welcoming them to, Miami. It was a very exciting time when you're doing exchange programs. There's different faculty, Brother Shepard there, and just an honor to meet everyone. So continuing on with what happened that weekend, we had an opportunity to go to dinner with them, break bread with them. There's my mom hugging one of the students. Everybody's taking selfies. It's so important to do cultural exchange and exchange like this, because this is how our young people get an opportunity to know each other. And everybody at the airport was like, what in the world is going on? Who are all these black people? What's going on? People always want to know what's going on. But as they were walking through from customs, everybody was happy to greet them. So we're here walking to at Bayside. This was our first stop, their first time coming to America. And of course, Bayside on a Friday, Saturday is popping. Everybody's out there. And so we ate at this restaurant that had good Argentina food. This is Mr. Shepard talking to the students about the expectations of them and the fact that they're representing their country, they're representing the program, and how important it is for them to be here. And such beautiful spirited young people. So I was just really happy to be a part of that. I got an opportunity to speak to them about what it is that I do, which is so many different things. And we were able to facilitate doing different things. So this event right here, and shout out to Sister Heaven, these fabulous ladies have an exhibition, and we got an opportunity to have a private tour late night. I'll post it at the end, but I took my Botswana crew to visit the installation. What I think is so cool is the opportunity to go visit art after midnight. Because guys, this was almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to lie. And these young ladies, these young curators are so fantastic. It's important to support what they're doing, especially in Miami. I'm not trying to be funny, but sometimes it's a lot of gatekeeping. And so it was a privilege and an honor to hang out with the Botswana folks and introduce them to our Miami folks. And you'd be surprised how much we have in common. Well, guys, this is it. I am not going to hold you guys too long. You will see me on the other side. Peace and blessings, and shout out to my Botswana crew for the next time. All right, take care.
And welcome back. So again, a big shout out to our guest tonight. He is a writer and director, Sefanja Richard Galon, and also to my co-hosts, Dr. Delvina and Imani Latifa. So thank y'all so much again, and we'll see you on another episode of MIA. So